Welcome back to our show where each week we're cooking something from a randomly selected country. This week we're making sushi from Japan, and you can't have sushi without rice. So we're starting with 2 cups of our rice of choice, and we want to make sure to wash it as clean as we can. If you look at this water, you see it's so murky and it's just all of that starch and other dust that might be in your rice. So we're gonna just put it through the wash a good few times, strain it, rewash, and now you can see just how clear it is. We're gonna put that on the stove, and once it starts boiling, we're gonna cover and let it go for 20 minutes. Meanwhile, we're gonna try and cut up an avocado. And if you've never done that before, it's just slicing around the edge of that avocado, twisting and pulling it apart before removing that pit very carefully. I'm using a spoon, other people use a knife. I recommend the spoon to avoid cutting yourself. Now to cut the avocado inside, you want to take a knife and just run lines down the length of it, and you'll feel that skin as soon as the knife touches the skin on the inside of the avocado. You don't want to push through it, so just run it along that inside skin and really cut the inside meat, and then you'll be able to pry everything out with a spoon nicely, and you'll get these beautiful strips of avocado that you can use for avocado toast, or in our case, we're going to be putting it inside our sushi roll. Our next ingredient for our roll is going to be some cream cheese, so I'm just going to slice this up into some long strips. Length is really what we're aiming for, so that it goes into that roll and provides some of that flavor throughout. Other ingredients that work really well to provide length could be celery or anything like that. Now we're on to the step that personally scared the hell out of me. Handling raw fish on my own is just not something I've ever done. I've always trusted restaurants to do it, but never myself. So after a bit of research, I found that getting it from a local grocery store or Asian grocer, if they have the sashimi grade, is perfectly fine. You just need to make sure that it is flash frozen after it's caught and that it stays frozen until it's ready. And when you do go to thaw it, it's not one of those kind of meats that you thaw on the counter. You want to thaw it in the fridge, and when you take it out, I cut it and then quickly put it back on ice so it doesn't get to room temperature at any point. Even when I'm eating it, I want it to be cold. That prevents any bacteria buildup. Parasites aren't really a fear of these kind of saltwater fish. They're more of a problem with your fresh fish, your fresh water. So personally, I'm still going to avoid the freshwater fish and stick only to really tuna. Salmon is another good option. You just want to make sure it's one of those farmed salmon to ensure lack of parasites and good lack of bacteria as well. One final thing I want to mention right before we get to the fun part is that sushi rice, as soon as it's coming off, and around this time it will be coming off that heat, you want to make sure it cools as quickly as possible to get nice and sticky. So I'm transferring it out of that pot into one of my plastic bowls, and I'm gonna put that whole bowl into another bowl full of ice water. That'll help cool it as quickly as possible, bring down that temperature, and just shock it so that it doesn't keep cooking itself as it sits and waits. Alright, we've made it this far. We've prepared all our ingredients. We're ready to go. So we're going to start by taking that sushi rolling paper made out of seaweed. And the best tip I got was to just cut off a third of it right away. That way it's going to be easier to roll later on. So you've got a little smaller piece of paper here, and we're going to line it with rice, not all the way. We don't want to go corner to corner. We want to leave a centimeter or two on one of the ends lengthwise to help roll and seal it at the end. Now that we've got the base ready, we can add our ingredients one at a time. I'm starting with the line of cream cheese right down the middle, kind of end to end, and topping that off with the avocado, and I'm going to break it down into slightly smaller, more manageable pieces so that it's easier to fold over when we go for that roll. Then finally, after that avocado, we're going to top it off with that beautiful slice of that raw tuna. And as you can see, it's been on ice this entire time, so it's still fresh. And now we're going to use our fancy bamboo rolling mat, and we were able to just get this at our grocery store as well. And if you can't, we'll be able to find it on Amazon. I'll have a link down in the description. That's a paid advertisement link if you decide you want to help us out and get one as well and try it for yourself. Now the rolling is really what I thought would be the hardest part, and I was Googling a lot of different techniques, and this is what I ended up going with. You can see I start by lightly tugging that edge up and over, and it's not like I'm fully rolling it over. It's just taking a piece of it up and over, and then I'm really pulling at that crease under the roll to try and tighten it up as much as possible, while pulling at with my other hand, pulling at that bamboo on the other side just to really tighten it up. And it actually came out really well, nice and rolled, which was astonishing for me. It was quick, easy. It's just really tucking it in and making sure that nothing gets away from you on this. Now we gotta cut it and just get a look at that cross section, and you can really see it's nice, round, and it's got a little bite of all of those ingredients in there. And so I wanted to also include this cutting the rest of the roll, because to make it nice and easy getting through there, each and every cut, I took the knife away and wiped it on a wet paper towel after, just to get everything off there, because cutting through is a bit of a challenge. You want to make it as smooth as possible without bending or damaging that roll. Now that we've got it all cut up and it's looking beautiful, I just wanted to top it off with a few of my favorite sauces. I'm going to do a spiral with that spicy mayo just on top of the roll, and this adds so much to it. It really does. After that, I'm going to add, in the opposite direction, the eel sauce, which is a really sweet, flavorful. It really only adds to the roll. Then I wanted a little crunch on top of there as well. Grocery stores tend to use like cornflakes, something like that. You could use panko breadcrumbs or proper tempura flakes, whatever really floats your boat. I've got my own special thing. It's top secret, but you do what works for you and you'll love it. Now, I loved making this. This was a really fun date night project. I am still terrified of the idea of raw fish, and I might actually make more of these just to get over my fear. And it doesn't just all have to be raw. You can do cooked rolls as well. There's many different ways and different types. This was just one of the types of rolls I made, and it really was a fun, creative project, and I absolutely suggest it. Thank you all for watching once more. We've gotten so many views, and we appreciate everyone who's watched so far. If you decide to try this out for yourself, let us know, comment on our video, or tag us on Facebook. You can even send us an email with a picture at grandorfs@gmail.com. Thank you for watching.